Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and we have a very special guest, a guy that I've watched since literally, I'm not trying to age you because I'm an elder myself, Steve, but I was watching you heavy in 6th and 7th grade on the E! Show, like every night, up into 8th grade, up into high school, but that's when I kind of discovered it. And I watched every single episode of the E! Show. And with all that being said, Steve was a legend. He was actually Howard Stern's personal assistant on one of Howard's best projects, Private Parts. And Howard Stern's book was actually dedicated to this man that we're sitting with right here, Steve Grillo. You wouldn't believe it if I told you, but this man, if you don't know him, you need to know him because he's an absolute legend. Steve, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing much better now that I'm talking to you, buddy.
Really? Are you that hyped up? Sorry, I got to get my cameras all jacked up. No, I'm so excited to have you. For the people playing at home, they might not know. So I wonder if we should it might be too awkward at first, but should we play a little of the acting reel? Can we do that? Can we kind of give them a little sneak peek of who you are? Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I was just like, if you read my book, Gorilla Parts, I get into the very beginning of me getting into acting and never wanting to do it.
What? Yeah. Well, when you say not wanting to do it because you got on Sopranos, you got on a bunch of shows. How many? Or was that the biggest show you got on, Sopranos?
Oh yeah, that I did NYPD Blue. I did a couple independent movies, did a couple commercials. But I used to kind of laugh at that. I took an acting class in school in Hunter College because I thought it was just going to be like a goof. It was an easy way to get some credit and to fulfill my theater minor. And I used to laugh at all the kids in class talking about agents and getting their headshots and this and that. I was like, what a joke. And then my first acting I ever did was in the off-Broadway play, Grandma Sylvia's Funeral. And I didn't realize what a big deal it was to get in an off-Broadway play, and that all these kids that were going to school with me were fighting tooth and nail to get anywhere close to an off-Broadway play. And I played it off. It was like no big deal. And then I realized it was a big deal when everybody in school was so happy for me.
That is a big deal, and you got on the world's biggest show, Howard Stern, and I want to get into Howard, but I just want to give them a little sneak peek because I want to dive deep, Steve. I am such a fan. This is such a special evening for me, and I hope it's a special evening for you as well.
It is, dude. You're a nutbag. I think you're great, man. Yeah, you're the next best thing since Stuttering John. You had some.
Wait, Steve. I was just gonna say I give a lot of my stuff to Stuttering John. He kind of was the first guy to kind of do a lot of this, avant-garde trolling, as you would say.
Yeah, I the first couple of videos I saw you, I went, yo, this guy's nuts. I love him. And I had a lot of reminiscent things about because I used to go with John on all the interviews, and we got thrown out so many times. I write a story in the book how I got beat up by Spike Lee's bodyguards because John asked him why does he hate the Jews so much, and then his bodyguards came in and chased me down 8th Avenue and beat me up.
Yeah, but you agreed with him though, right?
I wanted to know why he hates the Jews so much, and this is before all the political rhetoric that's going on right now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think people have criticized Jewish
for
a long time.
I'm wearing my best John Fetterman hoodie just for you, man.
People saying there's an echo. I wonder if it's on your end. They're saying there's an echo. You don't have headphones, do you?
No, I do.
All right, what about your phone? Are you using your phone or your laptop?
I'm using my phone.
Damn, okay.
If I get a little closer, maybe?
No, but it's echoing from me, I think, because you don't have headphones.
You don't need to get too close to my face.
It's coming through fine for Alex. Super echo from Grillo. Yeah, they're saying echo.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little spotty when I move.
Mm-hmm. Damn, we got to get the audio. And no headphones. Whoa,
you want me to try to load back in?
Yeah, log out and then log back in.
Okay. All right, sorry, bud. I'll be right back.
No worries. Guys, that's what happens when you're doing a live show like this. And, this is Steve's highlight tape. I definitely want to kind of watch it with Steve. I think that would be interesting. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Is there echo now? Babe, is there echo now? Hello? Microphone test. So it has to be him. I think it's all just feedback from freaking Steve's mic, and then my camera's acting crazy, and we're having all these technical difficulties. The Pimp on a Blimp is going to build a brand new studio, though, because the Blaze contract is over in October. So, you know, I need you guys to support the show and watch the show. It looks like we're even losing viewers now because the audio wasn't working. Grillo. This guy is, I mean, I can't even explain it. I mean, he's a legend, okay? Yeah, I don't know if Steve was that close to Brent. I see some Brent talk. Oh, wow. Look at that. $5 super chat. I like that. Nice to see Grillo is right where we left him. Bye, Grillo. Bring back Karmic X. Yeah, we like Karmic X. I like that. Thank you, Pizza's hit. I like that. I like that. Pizza does hit the spot. You know what I mean? Well, yes. Yes, I am starting a new venture. I mean, I don't know if I really should announce it while I'm live on the air or still under contract. But yes, I have a new venture to announce. Big announcement. So that will be good. I'm excited to announce that. But for now, I'm just going to be, you know, very clandestine about it. But yes, I am, I got something cooking in the oven, as they say. Okay? And everything, you know, that comes out of an oven. Pizza's good. People love Thanksgiving. Okay, let's see. Most of that food comes out of an oven.
Better.
Let's see.
I went outside.
Yo. How does that
My
sound?
lighting's a little fucked up. But I was hoping to. I didn't know if we were going to stream. I was going to set something up kind of nice.
Nah.
Now I'm kind of screwed.
No, they say it's better, but now they're saying still an echo, same. Damn, babe, listen to it. Is it bad? Okay, Steve, say something.
Yo, what up?
Yeah, it's still echoing.
Yo, a little echo. $5 super chat. Look at that. Look at this. Get off Wi-Fi, you echoing. Go make Howard Potato Grillo. That's funny. That is funny. Thank you for the $5. No, Grillo appreciates that. Look at this. Close all your windows. Stop screen sharing. It should fix the echo. Other streamers have the same problem. Well, I think it's because...
Closed.
Steve, I don't think it's because we're sharing anything. I think it's because Steve is listening on speaker. So that's why, I think. No, go to your settings. Oh, $20 super chat. Actually, go to your settings. There might be a thing. See that little setting thing? And then go to audio. And it says echo cancellation. Echo cancellation. Hit that.
Settings?
Yes.
All right, hold on a second.
We're about to fix it, folks. Sorry, we should have tested this at the beginning, but I guess we needed somebody to listen before you could see that there's an echo. So we apologize. You know, we're going to get some legendary clips out of this stream tonight. Tonight is going to be an emotional roller coaster. We're going to go through some of the, you know, good years. We're going to go through the book. We're going to go through what it was like to be on set with Howard. You know, just a lot of inside baseball perspectives from... A lot of people aren't Howard Stern experts like myself, you know, and that is what separates me. Steve, have you seen where it says, guys, slow down on the super chats real quick. We have you guys are beginning to chill out on the super chats because that does not go to me. So let's chill out on the super chats. You guys are going crazy. Alex, thank you for the hilarious content. You're making change in the world. I pray for you every day. Praise God. Rest in peace, Charlie. Yes, Kyle. Riz cool. Kyle R is cool. We like you, Kyle. You are cool, dude. You really are cool. Yeah, we don't have to go crazy on the super chats. We just gotta freaking... You guys can do whatever you want. I'm gonna put it on the screen, but you don't have to go crazy. We lost Grillo again. So tonight is gonna be one of those nights. I can tell that tonight is gonna be one of those nights. I hope you guys can buckle up because we're gonna go for a ride through, you know, or down memory lane. I can't even speak. I'm dehydrated. I'm fasting. We went down to Fort Worth, or over to Fort Worth technically. And they cut my mic off within the first 15 seconds. It was such bull crap. And then when I go all far away, my camera loses freaking focus. All right. Yes. No, I'm not. I'm not intoxicated or anything. Honestly, I'm just really frustrated after a long day and I haven't eaten yet. And then Grillo is having technical difficulties, but that's to be expected. You know how this stuff works, guys. We're doing this all live. Okay, let's see.
Is this any better?
Steve, did you click echo cancellation?
Yep.
Well, how does it sound now? I bet it did
How,
fix it.
how now, brown cow? Top shelf liquor.
Yeah,
What's going on?
yo. Primetime 99 on the grind all the time. Stuttering John. You guys can hear that? Is there echo gone? Much better, babe. How does it sound?
Hello,
Do
hello.
me a little. Grillo, no echo. Better. I think we fixed it. Good audio.
Fantastic.
W's in the chat.
Yeah, sounds good.
Grillo, you're a legend, dude.
I appreciate that. You're working your way up there too, you know.
Well, I really, truly appreciate that too. So, what is this book about? What is it? What is perspectives does it give us, the Stern fan, that they don't already know?
Now your volume's going down on my phone. So
Damn.
my book, everybody thinks automatically assumes it's me just like dishing on Howard and shit like that. But it's really the reason why I wrote the book is because I got so many stories over the years of all different aspects of my life that I would tell these stories like around the fire or, or just at a bar. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's such a great story. And I've had so many friends, especially my friend who I dedicated the book to, Russ Bernelli. He's been a very close friend. And for years, he's been up my ass about write a book, write a book, write a book, write a book. And I was like, no one gives a flying F about my book or my stories. He goes, Steve, everybody loves your stories. So finally, I got annoyed of him telling me to write a book. So I did. And it's basically
Okay.
me growing up in Brooklyn and how I got, I went to high school and I wrestled and how wrestling got me into Hunter College, how Hunter College got me my internship, and then how my internship got me a million other things, especially, hanging out at scores and hanging out with celebrities and all this other stuff. So it's just not just about my time in Howard. It's about what happened to my life getting there and my life after that.
Well, that is interesting because people don't know, that perspective of your life. But can you, I guess, take us back to how did you originally get an internship? And I know you've answered this on other podcasts, but for people that don't know, you can just give us like the cliff notes. How did you originally even get on the show? Because when you got on it, it was like the #1 show at the time. Didn't everybody want to be an intern?
Yeah, it was just right there. I probably was the last person that walked in the door and it shut behind me. I was going, I didn't know that I can go to college. My dad told me my senior year, either you get off your ass, you get a job, or you go to college. I went, you should have told me that like 3 years ago. I could have planned it. So I was wrestling in high school, and I was recruited by like St. John's University and Manhattan College. And when I applied so late and my mediocre grades, it didn't really help my cause getting on the team. So the Manhattan College coach sent me over to Hunter College to get my grades up so I could attend Manhattan College. But once I got to Hunter and realized that it was 90% women and all nursing students, I wasn't going anywhere. And one
Yeah, I
day
know.
heard,
Wait, so I didn't realize Hunter College is 90% women, so it's a women's college, and you're on the wrestling
well,
team there?
yeah, so it was kind of cool. And plus,
Did
it's
you get
right
to
in the
wrestle
center
any
of Manhattan.
women? Were there any trans people on the sports programs there?
No, nothing like that. No. This is, dude, we're going back to like 1990.
Yeah, but I
So
bet I bet Hunter College had a lot of even back then. I bet they had quite a few
yeah, no,
gender
there was a
benders.
very large gay community, and there was definitely people that were. It was a city school, so you had some people. You had like there was purple hair people back then before there was purple hair people. There was a lot of people, but it was pretty much a bit. It was these girls that were going to Hunter College. They wanted to become nurses, so they had their heads down, and it was also a CUNY school. So you got people from Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, Bronx, all over to come there, and so I wound up going to Hunter, which is on 68th and Lexington. And then one day I didn't know where the studio was. And I was in class and I heard Howard say, send your letters to 600 Madison. And I was like, that's like down the block. And I literally got out of the
Yes.
class and I walked down Lexington Avenue and I got to 600 Madison. And all of a sudden I'm standing in the studio of K-Rock. Just like that.
That's a pretty good deal. I guess age, it helps when you're young and fearless. That I think that takes a lot of courage to go do that. That opportunity is very cool. And then you really got one of the most interesting opportunities, I think, of anybody. You were Howard's personal assistant on set at the famous studios. Can you tell us about the studios, the history of the studios? Because those are
Well, the 600 in
legendary.
Madison was a they were notoriously cheap K-Rock, but they were all in their infancy at that
No,
point.
no, no, not that studio.
Oh,
I'm talking about the ones they shot the movie. What where you
oh,
lived
that
in a
was Silver
trailer?
Cup.
Because
Yeah, that
Howard,
was
yeah, where they shot The Sopranos, right? Everything, a lot of stuff was shot there, and Howard famously lived in a trailer. Can you tell us about his setup? What that was like?
they made an apartment for him on the roof, and he basically did. This was just because we had it pretty easy. If anybody that works on a movie set knows, 10-hour days is a blessing. Okay, and because of his schedule, they did a modified contract as far as the acting and the unions go, where he would only shoot 10-hour days, and they didn't break for lunch. They got catering all day long. So Howard,
Wait, they were mad. Why are they mad that it was 10 hours? Because they didn't get
no, they're not
overtime.
mad. Everybody on the set was extremely happy because
Oh, happy because they didn't want to go
happy.
overtime.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
and be there all night. Yeah,
the
yeah. It's
crew was all
efficient.
fans of him anyway, and they were happy because a 10-hour day working on a movie set is unheard of. So, and it was guaranteed they did 10 hours every day. When you know you're coming home every day working on a movie set at the same time, it is a blessing. It just doesn't happen. I think the only person that ever really does that is Woody Allen. He has 10-hour days and that's it. So these guys were all happy and they were all listening to him. You know what I'm saying? They were all big fans. So when we got there, Silver Cup made him a studio for days that we shot late. So he didn't have to go all the way home. He could just stay there and sleep over there and go straight to the radio station in the morning. And the weird thing is they hired a PA to be his overnight PA just to hang out there if he ever needed
And it's
anything.
Eli Roth, and that was
Eli
Eli
Roth.
Roth.
Yeah, he wrote the Cabin
Tell
Fever
people
while
who.
he was.
Yeah.
So it was, but there was one weird thing that I discovered at the rap party, and it didn't make any sense to me, and then it really kind of hit me because Eli Roth and Mary McCormick is the one who played Allison. When they got to the rap party, they were like best of friends. And I was like, how do they know each other? Because Eli would come in like right at the end of shooting, and then Howard would go to the apartment and everybody would go home. But Eli Roth and Mary McCormick were like, they knew each other for a long time. And then I realized, how does Eli know Mary? Mary must have been going to the apartment.
So that's a pretty spicy take. So do you think, and they say that there was a lot of chemistry on set between Mary McCormick and Howard Stern, and then Howard, I think, did he get divorced right after, or was he divorced
It
right
wasn't
before?
too much. I would say probably
Yeah, it was right
years
after.
But this was definitely in the darkness of Howard living in his basement, never coming out, never doing anything. So I can't imagine it must have been fun at the Stern household back then.
And I'm sure Mary McCormick, when you have an actress like that, as the co-star, you kind of accidentally fall in love. It's a weird kind of thing. D-Rest, hey Steve, did you hang with Eddie Trunks? Who's Eddie Trunks? Well, I don't know.
I'm not sure who Eddie Trunks is.
Thank you, D-Rest. I don't know who that is.
I would remember that name if he was like a grip or something on. We were all such a close family on Private Parts. It was really an amazing summer. We all kind of bonded. The crew of Private Parts went to The Sopranos, and then they went to Boardwalk Empire, and then they went to Ms. Maisel. So a lot of movie crews kind of stay together. So the reason why I got on The Sopranos because the first AD, Michael DeCasper, God rest his soul, loved me. And he was very patient with me, and then he called me up and asked me how tall I was. And I just happened to be as tall as Robert Eiler at the time, and I had my SAG card, so I got to do Robert Eiler's stand-in for 3 seasons.
And that's AJ Soprano. And AJ Soprano now has a big podcast with his TV sister. And he sounds like, and I'm a fan of his, so if this gets clipped, he's going to be like, oh, this guy was talking shit. I'm talking a little shit. Like, he got to be a superstar on arguably the best drama comedy show of all time. I mean, it's literally a top 10 show of all time. It will go down in history as one of the greatest shows. And to be like a part of that as a young kid, you think that he would have a very charmed life. And for him to always like be depressed and all this stuff, the fact that he's been, and I know it's probably hard to become an adult at a young age, but why do you think he's kind of a bitch now in his older age, always complaining.
Actually, you know what? I will say I understand what you're talking about when you say that about him. I happen to know him, and I believe it or not, his dad happened to be one of my best friend's bosses.
Oh,
So,
well,
like, I
I
kind of knew that he was
apologize.
getting no. I understand what you're saying because he did go through for a very angry part of his career right after The Sopranos. He went to Vegas and he actually became a successful poker player for a long time. But
Yeah.
he's sober and he's clean now. But I think it was probably he was out partying and doing a lot of crazy shit, and I think it took its toll on him, and he finally got his shit together and cleaned up. And now him and Jamie Lynn Singler are doing this awesome podcast. They had me on for like about 45 minutes, which was really nice of them.
Oh,
And they did their
oh wow.
research. Jamie Lynn read the book. She had all these questions for me, and it was really cool. And they were so awesome.
Well, Bob Eiler too. I mean, he is a cool guy. I'm a fan of his, so I don't even mean to say it like that. And it would be hard if like Paulie Walnuts is your co-star. You know what I mean? As a young kid fitting in with that very adult crew, I can understand that it would have been probably stressful as a young person, young adult in that situation. Because I bet it was stressful for you, and you were a young adult. So
Yeah.
can you
Well,
kind of
I already
describe that?
had my fair
Yeah.
deal with stress working on the radio. This was a piece of cake.
They were all chill on that set. Everybody was.
Oh my God, they were
Did
awesome.
Gandolfini, as a stand-in there, did Gandolfini ever actually do anything with you, or did he? What did he kind of look at you
He
and
was
laugh?
he. I can't say he would remember my name. I know Edie did, but Jimmy remembered
Edie
everybody.
Falco's a legend. Edie's a legend. That's a
Dude,
pretty big
she's
deal.
hot, man. I always had she like her body's solid, dude. I used to sit there and talk to her and be like, I would totally do her. You know what I'm saying? And
In
the older she gets,
Carmela's
she's
prime, in Carmela's prime, she was pretty good. But now, I mean, no disrespect, Edie Falco is,
yeah,
she's over the
I'd
hill.
have to help
But
her out a
back
little
then,
bit.
yeah, she was definitely a very attractive woman. There's no doubt
And
about
super
that.
awesome. Like she would sit outside and smoke cigarettes and talk with everybody. She knew like everybody. The last time I saw her, I was on Nurse Jackie. I was working on Nurse Jackie for a day, and she walked right by me, stopped, and knew exactly who I was. Came over and gave me a big hug. And Jimmy did the same. It was kind of funny. One night, I started working at a new piano bar, like a fancy bar, and it was your grand opening. And I stood in for AJ in the morning, and then I went home, took a nap, and then I had to go bartend the grand opening of this piano bar. And who was one of the first people worked in was Jimmy. And he sees me and he goes, "Hey,
James Gandolfini.
Yeah,
James
yeah.
Gandolfini. You're acting like Jimmy, like people know in the chat. James Gandolfini,
Yeah.
the
James
legendary
Gandolfini
actor,
walks in and
Tony
he goes,
Soprano.
"Hey, what the fuck are you doing over here? Get over here!" And he gives me a hug from the other side of the bar. And he picks me up. He goes, "Hey, who's your boss? Who's your boss?" I go, "That guy over there." He goes, "You, come here, come here. See this guy? He's with me. You got that?" He goes, "He does anything wrong, you let me know, all right? Because I'll come back. I'll talk to you." And Jimmy walked away, and the guy goes, "Who the fuck are you, bro?" Like, what the? He was like, the Godfather just came up and threatened me. I was like,
That, that's a huge deal. And I would never tarnish James's name. Gosh, I'm talking a lot of crap. But in a way, and maybe you'll disagree, the character of Tony Soprano kind of almost killed James Gandolfini, even though he's an incredible actor. I'm not saying it killed his career, but like he kind of became the persona, right? Because when you started the show, he was in good shape. Like he was actually pretty lean, you know what I mean? But like I think that he lived the part. He was a method actor. And I think being Tony for that long, in those later seasons where he's kind of stressed out gambling, I think his weight and health were kind of hard. So on set, did you notice that, or did he have, because like you said, on Sopranos, I'm sure they work 20-hour days sometimes when they were late and not getting stuff done, and weather issues. Do you think that his weight and stress was causing some of that method acting?
I could tell you, I had a lot of good friends that were friends with him before he became Tony Soprano, and he was hardcore. Like when he went
Yes.
out, he went out. And this is before he was always very generous, and he always paid for everything. Before he was he had a mild success before he was Tony Soprano.
Oh yeah, he
So,
was acted. He's a great actor. Like his first role in a
yeah,
movie or whatever, that he was like a breakout guy. He was in that movie, that famous movie with like who is it? Woody Harrelson and all those people. That Quentin
yeah.
Tarantino movie, I think. Uh,
I think his big break was that one with Christian Slater, and it was a Tarantino
that's
movie.
the one. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Tarantino one. That Christian Slater. That's the one of True Romance, I think.
True Romance. There you go. So he
Yeah.
no, I think he was just. I just think now that the more success he got, the more he enjoyed going out and having fun. And that could have done it. I can't say for a fact that it wasn't his method acting and being Tony Soprano. I just think that he was a fun, happy, go-lucky guy that liked to go and enjoy the better things of life. And he did. And the more famous he got, the more he enjoyed it. Maybe that was the cause, you know?
The only reason I say that is because, like, everywhere he went, you're Tony Soprano, and yes, because he's such an accomplished actor. People know he's James Gandolfini, but at the same time, you're really James. You know, it's like Dwight Schrute. Yeah, you're Rainn Wilson. We know you're Rainn Wilson. We know the show well enough because we know it 5 levels deep. We know that you're Rainn Wilson, but you're still Dwight Schrute. And so when he goes out to the bars, yeah. You know,
sorry,
I'm saying, and then and like when he goes out, you see those legendary clips of him like on the sideline of the Jets game. He's almost indistinguishable from the character Tony Soprano. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was. It was interesting to watch them. I was so lucky. I always said I went to the Harvard School of Radio, and then I went to the NYU masterclass on filmmaking because working on The Sopranos for those 3 seasons, I got to work with some of the greatest directors like Timmy Van Patten and Henry Bronstein and all these other, that still are even who's directing. He was the camera operator. Phil Abrams, who's doing Breaking Bad, and he did Daredevil now. Working with all those guys, and then watching people that were the best actors in the business, like Edie Falco and James Gandolfini. I got to watch and observe and absorb all their talent. And people go to NYU and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that kind of education, and I got paid for it. So Jimmy, as an actor, was so interesting because he used to do like these weird gorilla grunts and noises and screeches before a scene. And then I remember that one scene when he was working, Artie Bucco just tried to commit suicide. And he had to go in there, and it was an emotional thing where he grabbed his friend and was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" He did push-ups, he punched the wall, he started doing all these crazy noises, and then he'd run into the scene, and he'd do the scene, and then cut, and he'd go back, and he'd do it all over again. You know, it was amazing.
That's pretty badass, and that's hard to do in front of a crew and stuff. You know, that takes a real.
Oh, yeah, we were all used to it.
skill.
You walk on the set, you're like, "What the hell is that, a gorilla or something?" It was Jimmy in the back going back and forth, getting into character.
I love that. So James Gandolfini would just be like, getting in character, raging out, crashing out before the scene. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay. Sounds like people want to hear more about Howard Stern a little bit, but people don't realize how epic that was for the haters. Not that there's a lot of haters, but the people don't realize that, The Sopranos is, to me, it's my favorite show of all time. I mean, and I was lucky enough to be an extra. I was a featured extra on an episode of The Office. Not trying to brag, but
cool.
It gets seen all the time, and people send me a message, "Oh, I saw you on The Office," and that's a legendary show. It'd be like being an extra in the Seinfeld or something, basically. So, you never got to work on Seinfeld, did you?
No. I do remember that was like one of my no.
Oh, he's in L.A. Yeah, that was in L.A. too. So how would you even?
But no, but like I refused to watch it because everybody talked about it, and it was like I was a weird, angry kid, so people talked about the show so much that I didn't want to watch it. I didn't start watching it until I got the reruns because I got sick of people going, "Did you watch Seinfeld last night? Did you watch Seinfeld?" I don't care, so I didn't watch it until later.
Yeah, because even if you didn't want to sit down and watch it, like it was just, it's just everywhere. Okay, guys, well, let's give a little background to Grillo so you guys can kind of see who he is. That these people they don't even freaking know how big of a legend you are, and that frustrates me because, you have a big audience. Obviously, you're on a book tour, but some of my audience, they're political affiliated, so they might not know. They don't know how.
You see the sign behind me? Hold on a second.
Yeah, let's see.
I have this. I'm at my trailer upstate, so it says no religion, no politics. You're not going to convince me. I'm not going to convince you. I don't mind talking politics on your show. I just don't like talking politics up here because people get so offended. I could talk politics with you. I'm not smart enough to be talking politics, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? You need to be informed and up to date. I work more on emotion, so I really have a problem.
I disagree. I disagree. I think you don't even have to be that dialed in. You know what you want. You can talk about what you think is right and wrong. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Well, we don't have to get political. It does. We don't have to get that political, but obviously, because I think both sides, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, like obviously, you don't need to know a lot of politics to support that, right? You support that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But, freedom of speech without consequences is another thing. My neighborhood, you could say what you want, but it didn't mean you weren't going to get a fat lip.
Now they're saying there is an echo. Gosh almighty, I don't know how that happened, guys. Babe, is there an echo?
Doing good.
What?
When he moved his phone.
What do you move? Now it's echoing again. Click your phone and see if you can do echo cancellation. It turned off when you moved it. See
Okay,
if it-
hold on a second.
Click audio. Click audio. Click audio. Well, all right. We're having some issues. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm sorry. Tonight is an insane night, like usual. You couldn't, you could have seen this coming. Okay, we all could have seen this coming. It's a crash out special. We had a crash out at City Council, got escorted out by cops. I'm in a bad mood about that. I don't like how we can't get this audio to work. And then I don't know why there's people spamming the chat. What is going on? Actually, I don't really mind that much, but it's just kind of annoying. But thank you. Button my shirt. You guys don't like the chest hair? I feel like I kind of like the chest hair. You don't like that? Is that too European? You know, I'm a pimp on a blimp, dog. This blimp is international. You know, I'm not a globalist, but I go around the globe because I need to know what other people are doing so I can get my intel, because I got to come back to y'all and I got to break it all down. And it's not easy being this greasy. So, you know what I mean? This is just what it is. And I get it. You can hate. Shit. I've been on the sidelines hating too. Shit. You know, I used to have a player hating degree. I was just like you. And then I became a pimp on a blimp. And then I realized, you know what? Don't hate the player, hate the game. And then my whole perspective changed. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's see.
Audio.
Let's see if it works. All right, guys. I think this is going to work. I think it's going to work. Let's see. Are you guys, let's just play this. Let's just see if this works. I bet it won't. Steve Grillo's famous acting reel.
This scene was voted one of the top 10 scenes, by the way.
Watch where the fuck you go. Kiss my ass. Hey! Take that shit outside. Don't disrespect the pizza parlor. Fucking asshole. I know where you live. You hear what I said?
That's legendary! Look at this.
Click on this one.
Watch where the fuck you go. Kiss my ass. Hey!
Legendary line. You got Grillo saying, kiss my ass. I mean, that is iconic. I bet people were so, Gary, everybody had to be so jealous of that.
I was already off the show.
Oh, this is right after you'd left the show. Wow, they threw you a big bone, but they all talked about it on the show. This is big news.
I don't think they gave us that.
Damn, dude.
Take that shit outside. Don't disrespect the pizza parlor. Fucking asshole. I know where you live. You hear what I said?
NYPD Blue, a legendary show.
They don't blink.
What's that main actor's name?
Low-paid scumbag. You got exits in the front side and the back. So you and Diane at the back.
I thought you were going to tell us to kick the door down.
Dennis Franz.
I know, Dennis Franz.
This is a childhood dream of mine.
Dennis
Well,
Franz is
every kid-
iconic.
If you ever wanted to go bowling, you always wanted to do this.
Okay, let's see.
Combined with sports like hockey and basketball, people are always coming to us with new roller sports. Roller bowling.
I have always wanted to do that. So that was your line, roller bowling. But that, what was the even company? What were you even selling?
It was
there?
Blade Boards and Skates. It was a skate shop in New York. They sold apparel and rollerblades and skateboards.
And they bought a real commercial.
Yeah. They asked me, "Do you really want to do this?" I went, "Yeah." And this is my last day on the air.
Last day on our show.
No, how do you feel about that?
For those hardcore fans who know everybody on the show, Steve Grillo has been an intern now for the last 10 years.
You dedicated your book to him.
I certainly did. And I want to take that back. Now, this kid got up every day, came here for free, got me breakfast,
Are you glad that this is the last time you're going to be doing this?
Well, I'm not glad. It's, it just sort of a relief that someone else is going to have to take up the responsibility and something I don't have to worry about anymore. But, it's fun, it's just something that I'll probably miss doing,
What about getting up in the morning? That's the biggest, right?
I'm really going to miss getting up at 4:30. That's
So that is why the schedule is so hard. I mean, are you getting emotional seeing that and hearing that? Kind of going back and reliving that.
There's it's so funny because he gave me like a $2,000 as a parting gift. And then there's a moment where you see me at the end say goodbye to Robin, and she was very kind. And then if you see when I'm walking to Howard down for the last time, and Ganji asks a question, are you going to miss Grillo? And he turns to the camera and goes, oh, who gives a fuck? So you can watch it. It's in there.
Wait, Mike Ganji says that or Gary?
Yeah, you'll see. It was right after Robin says goodbye to me, and then I'm walking Howard down with Ralph and some other dude. And then you'll notice. He goes, oh, who gives a fuck?
$5 super chat. I'm looking very Euro and dapper, appropriate for a fellow Scot. Make America the bubble again. My bro was in your class. Awesome. Thank you, Trug Flip. Go Scots. That's my alma mater, high school. Got my reunion coming up. Excited for that. Got to get in shape. I haven't eaten today, Grillo. I'm fasting. So Howard Stern had a weird diet. He had a weird diet. Okay, let's watch the rest of this. Okay, let me.
You have no idea. Like back when he was eating peanut butter, if you see in my hand, there's a big stack of like pumpernickel bread. And I had to get it from a certain store, and then I had to get him all natural peanut butter.
Well, I actually like peanut butter, but he was a health nut. And is that why? Was he technically thin? And doesn't he exercise a bunch too?
Well, he was kind of chubby, like in the fart man days. Like he was kind of out of shape, and he just didn't understand how to lose the weight. And then he eventually got enough brains to get a nutritionist and a trainer, and they took it off him, and then he became like skinny.
And did he? But he had like a mono diet, right? He basically ate like the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah. In the beginning, I would have to buy him 10 ounces of turkey every day, and I would microwave 2 baked potatoes, and he ate the turkey and the baked potatoes like every single day.
With what? Ketchup, sauce?
No, he would just wrap the turkey in the piece. I would sort of cut the potato in sections and put it in the microwave, and I'd wrap it in a paper towel, a wet paper towel. 8 minutes, it would come out. It was dry and disgusting. I gave it to him in a paper towel, and he grabbed the turkey and he wrapped the turkey around the piece of potato, and he ate it. It's disgusting.
And he had at this time $100 million probably.
At least. He didn't spend any of that money. When you think of all the money he made from NBC and all the other radio gigs that he had. Bud Bongo Fiesta, U.S. Open Source, Crucified by the FCC, the Channel 9 show, Bud Bongo Fiesta, the Private Parts of the book, and the movie. Like at that point, he never spent any of that money. He was just secluded in his basement. Right? What did he do? We had a Corvette and he had a house with his kids. That's it.
He's got a limo. He's probably paid for all of his kids' first class.
The radio station paid for the limo.
Oh, really? They paid for the limo. Well, okay, hold on. Let's just watch the last. I want to see this clip. I want to see.
Want to stop getting up at 4:30 in the morning? I had to give it up though.
I wrote him a check. I gave him a little cash. Yeah. Hey, Grillo, come here. I'll give you some cash, bro. It's like 10 years. He's 40 years old now. I don't know, something like that.
Well, he wasn't 16 when he got here, was he?
Yeah, I know you're leaving. But, he's smart to be leaving because he's now going to be a casting director. Dude, I'm worried about you. Well, you going to be all right out there in the cold, hard, cruel world? Everyone comes up to me and goes, boy, is Grillo going to be in for a surprise when he has to get a real job?
No, I'm not.
And they're going to bust his balls.
That's fine.
Man. That's fine what? You've never had a real job.
That's not... Are you kidding me?
That's not good.
What real job have you had?
What real job? As in what? I've worked since I was 11 years old.
All right, what did you do?
I've done a plethora of things.
A plethora?
Where'd you learn that word?
What are you doing?
This is Grillo's last time.
See?
Goodbye, Steve.
Are you still going to remain friends?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. We don't even need to...
That was the last time I really saw him, like right there.
Damn, Steve. That's crazy, dude.
After I saved this motherfucker's life.
Why? How did you save his life?
Well, it's in the book, but my job was to let him in the building every morning, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes people will be waiting outside with a book, or they wanted an autograph or a picture, and it was kind of uncomfortable. And on 58th and Madison, the building was on a corner, and the maintenance entrance was on 58th Street with a big, like, sort of, metal gate that came up and down where they got the garbage and they made deliveries. And it was on 58th Street, and he used to come in the front at 600 Madison, and I'd open the door, and Ronnie would walk him in, and I'd walk him upstairs. But because I'd get there before everybody else, if I saw somebody standing outside or a car parked anywhere near, I would tell Ronnie to come around the back. And that means Ronnie had to go all the way. Ronnie always angry and complaining about everything. And so I had Ronnie come around. I got there kind of late. I was at Scores the night before. So I was still
a strip club. Scores is a legendary strip club in the chat for the people that don't know. So you're at Scores all night, going to work at 4 in the morning. I'm the one who got Scores on the radio. Right here, this guy got Scores on the radio, but that's another story. Tell that story in the book. So I saw this guy parked right in front of 600 Madison. There wasn't even he was trying to hide. He was parked right in front. And I made it upstairs, and Ronnie just called as I got upstairs, and I said, come around the back. And Ronnie, of course, I'm almost there. You're going to make me go all the way around and this and that, blah, blah, blah. I said, Ronnie, just come in the back. And sure enough, at that point, the guy realized that Howard was running a little late. And something clicked in him, and he got out of the car, and he was standing on the corner of 58th and Madison looking down, realizing there's 2 entrances. He was kind of staggering the corner. And when when Howard got out of the limo, he saw Howard and screamed at the top of his lungs, Howard Stern, you motherfucker, I'm going to fucking kill you. And he started charging, running down this, I'm talking about like this. And I started screaming, I pushed him into the building. I started screaming for the security guard to shut the gate. And the gate, it was like Indiana Jones. The gate's coming down really slow, And I pushed Howard through the other door. And I was standing at the door, and Ronnie grabbed the guy right before he turned to come into the building. And then I held the door like this because I didn't know if he got away from Ronnie. And Ronnie's only 5'2", right? He's very small.
He proved himself that morning. I can tell you that. And I held the door when I realized the gate was down and he wasn't in there. I ran to the lobby, and Howard had his gun out, and he was shaking like a leaf. And he goes, where is he? I said, look, Ronnie got him. Put that thing away, man. Put that thing away. And then we went upstairs.
Time out. That's huge. Howard walks around with his man purse with a gun. And what kind of gun? Like a 9mm?
No, he's talked about it before. Yeah, I used to have to go to police.
I thought he was joking. Well, I thought maybe he was joking if I ever heard him say he has a gun. So is he pro Second Amendment?
He has a piece that usually carries on his ankle, and he always kept it in his briefcase if he wasn't wearing it. I used to have to go to One Police Plaza and pick up his permit every year.
What a badass. See, that's why Howard is low-key. He was such a badass back in the day. I don't know why he became such a libtard. I love that. I thought I've heard him say, he carries a gun, but I thought he was, being, sarcastic, because I thought he was probably anti-gun, because, he's just kind of...
Oh, no, he's too terrified. Wow, he's a scary Mary.
I know. I don't blame him. Hey, I think he should have it. I'm actually support that. I'm just surprised. I thought, Ronnie had the gun. I didn't think Howard's really, packed.
Turns out the city marshals happened to be across the street getting coffee, to start their day. And they saw there was a confrontation, and they came over. By the time I called 911 and came back downstairs. The city marshals had the guy cuffed over the hood of the car, and there was a shotgun with 12 shells in the front seat. And they had all the shells lined up on the roof of the car.
Did they? Oh, on the route, did they charge him with a gun crime? What happened
he got
with the
charged
guy?
with everything. But if Howard would have came in that morning in the front door, I guess you would not be here, and I wouldn't be talking to you.
Wow. Why is Howard so secretive?
I don't know, because he wants to keep everything on the air. I don't know what's going on with him now, but he basically told everything that was going on, whether he shit his pants the day before or anything. I never really seen him be secretive. Off the air, yeah, because that's not the life he had. He turned the microphone on. He was a different person.
Well, but and I understand Robin wants to have privacy, but Robin had that illness, and they always kind of just had that, she was working remote and never talked about it till after, which I can kind of understand, but, it's just like that. I think that is just an example of other stuff that they've probably been very secretive about it. And I guess I'm secretive, you know. I mean, the public, we don't deserve to know everything about him, but you know, the Robin thing was a big deal. You know, that was pretty crazy. Did you know that she was sick during that period?
Yeah, no, Robin's I was the closest with her out of everybody on the show.
And that's hard to do because not a lot of people really speak that fondly of Robin.
No, we were just instant friends. You know, like he was kind of known when I got there to have a hard time with interns. And when I got there, my first day, like I had already been working in there's a journey that you can find out in the book about how I got to this show, because I started on a project where I just was logging old tapes, and then I finished the tapes too soon, and I got hired in the promotions department, and I was basically waiting to get in the show, and then Robin couldn't stand her intern. So she told Gary on Friday to fire him, and they called me and they were like, "Could you be here Monday morning?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Gary forgot to fire the girl. So Robin walks in and the girl's sitting at her desk. And I was in another room and Ganji was showing me, because I was her news intern as well. So Ganji's showing me what I need to do and how to get her the news. And she comes in the door and she had this little office. She slams the door and she goes, "What the fuck is that bitch doing here? I told Gary to fucking fire her. I don't want to see her fucking face. Now I look fucking so stupid." I was like, that was my first like 5 minutes working officially on the Howard Stern show's Quivers, screaming at the top of her lungs about Gary forgetting to fire the girl. How do you forget to fire somebody?
Well, Gary's playing solitaire. Okay, well, listen, you got a great book, and a lot of these stories are in it. So tell the people, where can they find this book, and how can they support you?
It's on Amazon, and it's also on Audible. And
hold
you can
it
go
up
to Amazon.
longer. Hold
just
it up
look at the
longer.
reviews. Look, it's not that much. What is it? $14.95. The Audible's even cheaper. You can listen to my annoying voice for 4.5 hours. You know that. You could probably have some fun with that. Get the Audible. You could probably find so many great Steve Grillo voice moments that you would have fun with, because it wasn't as easy as I thought to do the Audible.
No.
It's not. And there were moments of struggling times, and I'm sure you can find a lot of fodder if you go to the Audible.
I like that. Some Easter eggs. Okay, last question before you go. Howard Stern, to the segue to the question about his secret lifestyle. Famously, Ralph Cirillo, excuse me. Is it Cirillo? What is it? What was Ralph's name? Cirillo, excuse me. I apologize, Ralph. I don't want to defame the deceased. He was Howard's hairdresser. And now, with what we know with Howard and having black hair, not one gray hair, but saying he doesn't dye it, people say he had a hair system, but I think it goes a little deeper than that. What are the possibilities that Howard was in a sexual and romantic relationship with Ralph Cirillo?
Well, based on my own personal experiences with Ralph, he didn't really. I had my one and only time I had a threesome with a guy. Me and Ralph brought home a stripper from Scores to my apartment. And when things started turning, clothes started coming off, I freaked out and I left. So Ralph, I don't think he has a problem with other naked men being in the room. I do. I let him have sex with the stripper, and I went and slept in Ganji's bed. But he didn't seem to have a problem getting naked around other guys. I don't know exactly. That is a mystery that you'll probably only find out when we die, about Ralph and Howard's real relationship. No one understood it, because it was just the most oddest thing you could ever possibly experience, because no one, like, he did things that no one else could get away with, and Howard just like blew it off. Like, I heard that he had some drunken excursion with his house in the Hamptons where the cops had to come.
Famous.
A little tap on the hand. Don't do that again, Ralph. Like a couple of things on the air, but Ralph laughed it off. And I don't know what happened at the end of Ralph's life, but it didn't seem like he had much support from Howard. If he didn't have health insurance, how was he not taking care of his people?
Yeah, and they were much more than like employer-employee. It's just so obvious that they were like...
Yeah, he put up with more shit than anybody from Ralph, and I think Howard got often because it drove people crazy, because they couldn't understand, and I think Howard loved that, and it made him more endear himself to Ralph.
I know, but isn't that weird? Isn't that gay?
Whether they went down on each other, I don't know.
Like he was purposely kind of being, you know, uh, what was it like? He was leaning into the joke, like they became more secretive because people were accusing him of being secretive. Like that's almost like you're
They
guilty.
had their own little language and shit. It was weird, creepy.
What is that? Like what were some of
Just
the
the way they
words?
spoke to each other and the references that they gave. You know what I'm saying? It was just like it was only they would be on the phone all night talking, and they had their own little you know stories that they would relate to that no one else understood.
Yeah, I know. That's how you kind of their inside jokes.
So, but
Wow.
I got to give you props, man. I kind of feel like they need to interview you, and
We
please do
should.
not stop
We got
doing
to
what
do
you're
this again.
doing.
No, we got to
Yeah,
do this again because our Wi-Fi has got to be a little better. But we already spoke for almost an hour. But we definitely got to do this again. Well, I appreciate that. I'm not going to stop. I got a big college tour coming up. We're going to about
please.
12 different schools in the
I'd be
next
one of
3
your
months.
security guards.
Yeah, I'll hire you when we're doing this. Or where are you? Are you in Upstate? I'm going to University of Rutgers. You should come with us.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God, can I?
Yeah, you can
I
speak.
might be
I'll
in
let you
Vegas for a
speak.
little bit. I might have a big announcement in the next couple of days, so maybe I'll come back on, and if I have the
Keep me
announcement,
posted.
I'll do
Yeah,
it on your
and then
show, and I'll make it a lot better looking than this. I didn't know what was going
I
on.
like
It
this
was
trailer.
raining.
I like this trailer. Is it a fifth wheel? Is that a fifth wheel or is
No,
it
it's
drive?
sort of just like it's just a regular trailer. Let me see.
Bumper,
It's
bumper
not a
pull.
fifth
I
wheel,
like
but
that.
it was someone was leaving. They gave it to me, and
Heck,
this
dude,
this is
I
where we
love
hang
that.
out.
That's a
Yeah,
bohemian lifestyle. You're a crew guy. You're an actor. Oh, and
I'm
last thing
white
people want to
trash.
know, Eric the actor. You didn't have a lot of interaction with Eric. None,
I
right?
had none. I was more of a crackhead at Fred the Elephant Boy era. Captain Jenks and all those guys. They were sort of the core group of whack packers, sort of the original group of whack
Is
packers.
Captain Jenks? He got strung out on opiates. Is he back on opiates or is he sober for a
I
while?
can't answer that. I sort of our political views don't match, so I think he kind of muted me because the way things go. The reason why I don't like to talk politics, bro, is because I don't mind listening to what you have to say, but when I have a point to come back at you and say this, they have a meltdown. And I have several people in my life that I care very much about that I don't talk politics with. And if they hear me mention politics, they get mad. I've been called a Nazi by like beloved family members. I've been blamed for things that Trump has done because it affected some other people's lives because I voted for him. And
Yeah.
it's a quite tense. That's why, and I'm so sorry that your buddy Charlie Kirk had to go
Charlie.
through all that, and it was sad. And I watched Charlie because he had the calmness and the intelligence to explain people that had that hate that there's another side to look at. And to this day, they're still accusing him of being a racist when it's been
It's
proven.
all
And then when they
BS.
show
Yeah,
them that he wasn't a
he held.
racist, their
Yeah,
mind explodes and they can't even think about it. What do you
no,
think
he
what's going
held.
on? Right now, Jimmy Kimmel's making an ass out of himself. What do you think?
Well, Sinclair and Nexstar aren't distributing it, so that probably messes him up a little bit. But I mean, who cares? Nobody watches his show. I think it's just naturally probably gonna run its course. But I don't really think he should. I just think he said it at the wrong time. I don't think what he said was,
Yeah.
that offensive. And I don't really like government intervention in
He called me a
corporate
disgusting
stuff.
human being.
Jimmy did.
Yeah, it was like right when Howard got to Sirius, and I pitched a show. I wanted to review movies every Thursday night, and I was working on the movie The Brave One with Jodie Foster, and I was Jodie Foster's first team PA, which means like I was in charge of Jodie, and we became pretty close. So while I was Jodie's first team PA, I got the call from Tim Sabian saying we're going to give you a shot. You're going to do your own show. So I started harassing Jodie like, "Yo, you got to be my first guest," and she's like, "Absolutely not." And I was like, "Come on, Jodie, you got to be my first guest." So we were at the rap party and we were drunk, and I was like, "Jodie, come on." She goes, "Fine, I'll do your fucking show." So my first guest and during the whole show was Jodie Foster, and it was the interview that almost didn't happen, but it did. So now I was working at a nightclub Sunday night, and I was a guest Monday morning that they were going to review my show live on the air, and Jimmy Kimmel was the guest all day. So I came in, I was still kind of half in the bag from work, and they asked me what I wanted, and I got a tall boy. So I came in the studio with him, and Jimmy was sitting next to me. Now I don't mind all those people in that studio breaking my balls because that's what they do. They're
You
my
are
friends.
drinking a
They've been doing
beer
that-
at 6 in
Yeah.
the morning. You're drinking a beer at 6 in the morning. You know, they're going to bust your
I don't
balls.
know this guy standing next to me. I was sitting next to me. I don't know him. Okay, so for him to break my balls, I had a problem with it. So I'm like, who are you to say anything? I don't care if you have a cheesy ass late night show. You're not my friend. They can break my balls. You're not going to break my balls. So he said something stupid, and I drank the beer and I burped and I blew in his face. I went, and it went
Jimmy
right in his
Kimmel,
face. He
wow.
was like, ugh. And then he proceeds to try to critique my interview with Jodie Foster. And I turned to him and Howard and I go, let me ask you both a question. Have you interviewed Jodie Foster? No. Have you interviewed Jodie Foster? No. Both of you shut up.
I like that. I also don't like Jimmy. He didn't stand up for Dickie Barrett, lead singer of the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, who became Jimmy's announcer during the whole COVID stuff about not getting vaccinated. So Jimmy's a bitch for that. All right, well, Grillo, thank you. We're going to do this again soon. We'll plug whatever you need to hit me up. Guys, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
We got
Audible.
a lot. Audible, and you get to hear the audio mix-ups, slip-ups, and you guys can cut that tape and make Grillo
and
say whatever you
Amazon,
want.
the reviews are really, really great. People have been kind. There's always some, mutt out there that's going to do something, whether the book is good or not, it's going to say something negative. But there's maybe 2 of them and 15 great reviews, so I'm happy with that.
I would have liked you to burp in Jimmy Kimmel's face more. All right, guys, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We love you. We will be back tomorrow night in studio at the Blaze. We're counting things down. We got some big announcements coming. I love you guys. Peace.